Welcome back to the Highline Podcast. Hit that button.
Yeah!
Let's go!
You can't do that.
I can't get it right.
Shut the up and let me talk.
I thought I was wrong once, but I was mistaken.
You're only young,
But you're gonna die. Proceed to party.
Ooh, are you ready, Riley?
What did he say?
Go Tigers.
That's incorrect.
Go Cox. I think that might be the best one we've ever done. That was good. I like that. Step one, you say we need to talk. You say sit down, it's just a talk. He smiles politely back at you. You stare politely right on through some sort of window to your right. He goes left and you stay right between the lines of fear and blame. You begin to wonder why you came. Where did Chris go wrong? He lost the race somewhere along in a bitterness, and I would have stayed up with you all night had you known how to win the race.
Yeah.
Let him know that you know best, 'cause after all you do know best. You try to slip past his defense without granting innocence. Lay down a list of what is wrong, the things you've told him all along. Pray to God he hears you, and you pray to God he hears you. And where did Chris go wrong? He lost the race somewhere along in a bitterness, and I would have stayed up with Chris all night had he known how to win the race.
That's a good one. One take Drake too.
One
like you
take
said.
Drake.
Who sings that song? Daughtry?
The Fray.
The Fray?
Yes.
Yeah, Daughtry, the Fray. Same thing.
That's the same band.
Yeah, they're very similar.
Damn, Chris.
Damn it, Chris. So close. If you just wouldn't have messed up passing Zane Smith
Who?
for fourth, I think you would have won that race.
Yep.
So close, but yet so far away for old Christopher Busher.
So close, no matter how far.
That ain't that song.
I know. I was going to sing that one, but we'd already done it.
Oh, have we?
Yeah. I think I did it last time Chris finished second.
Probably. Yeah, welcome back to the low line. Other one.
The High Line.
Damn it.
Drink.
Episode 151. Trent Davis Riley Embree back at you with the action. Riley, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I did say a couple weeks ago, though, episode 151, I was supposed to sing a different song. I just remembered it. 151 rum. Pineapple juice
yeah.
and Malibu.
That was like a month and a half ago.
Yeah, but that's a banger. Anyways.
Not as bad, not as much of a banger as Where Did He Go Wrong?
Yes, that is a banger, too. I forgot how good that song is.
I lost the race somewhere in a nerve and a can of penny.
That's not the words, but...
Something like that.
Anyways, you asked me how I'm doing. I'm fucking sweating my balls off.
Well,
It is 1,075
to
degrees here in the
to-
upstate of South Carolina.
to be fair, we did just get back from the gymnasium.
Yeah,
So
we did.
were already
and
sweating.
It was hot at the gym.
Yeah.
It was hot in the car on the way back.
No, it wasn't.
It was pretty cool. Yeah,
I'd say I had that thing blow. I got a new air filter for that.
Hey.
So that cab was running smooth.
Facts. But anyways, then we came here, and now we're sitting in the High Line studio.
I just took a shit. That's what
I wondered what you were doing.
I had to go, man. My stomach was cramping.
Been there. But
Yeah, so-
anyways.
My bowel, in case our fans were wondering, my bowels are cleaned out.
It's good.
Yeah,
But
how about
yeah.
yours?
Hadn't ate anything all day, so I think I'm pretty good on that. But we're here. We're here doing a podcast today, episode 151.
Are we?
Yeah. Had a good week at work. Weekend at work. Didn't die. It's always a good thing. Got to watch some racing. Sunday, pretty good race. Looking forward to this week at the track that shall not be named.
Nope.
And, yeah.
The track and country south of the border.
Yes. That country. But, yeah, what about yourself?
Yeah, it was all right. Worked all week. And
Cleaned up, clean cut, and clean shave?
Not at all. I need to get a haircut. Where you going? I'm about to say, this is awful early for you to be taking a piss. Yeah, it's all right. Worked all week. I had the weekend off on my week off, so enjoying that. Did some yard work yesterday. Trying to take care of some bugs around the house. Having a house is a lot of work, in case you don't know. If you still...
How about it some on?
Yeah, it's too much for us. But taking care of yard work and all that stuff. And got to see my grandma Friday, so that was good. I ain't seen her in a while. And
She was at the gym today.
she was not. That woman does not look like my grandmother.
She did.
But yeah, it's pretty. I went to my in-laws' house Sunday to watch the last half of the race. Was at a birthday party at the first half.
Yeah, ignoring your cousin. Ignoring your cousin.
Ignoring my cousin.
Isn't that your cousin? The birthday party? Wasn't that for your cousin?
Well, yeah, my cousin's baby, yeah.
Yeah, you were ignoring...
Oh, because I was watching the race?
Because you were watching the race.
I mean, I was interactive. I was helping people. I was helping Caleb and all them get the pizzas in and stuff. And, I couldn't remember what present I brought. So when they hand out the bag, like, who is this from? I was like,
I think that's mine, maybe.
I think that, yeah, luckily, Tori had a card in there, wrote down our names. I was like, yeah, it's ours. It's some type of doll or something. I knew it kind of what it was.
Yeah.
When you're a man and you're married, you really don't pick out the gifts. You let the wife do that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know anything about that no more.
I don't know. That's why nobody's getting any gifts from me.
Oh, Lord, I apologize.
Damn.
But
I'm catching it from all sides. I hear it at work all day. I hear it at fucking all my friends talking shit.
Oh, shit.
Damn.
Oh, well.
That's why I drank.
Yep. Oh, but yeah, I had a pretty good weekend. I was hoping for the good Lord to run Denny out of gas, and he just allowed Denny to make it. So it was unfortunate. Wanted Chris to win, and I will say this: I'm not as upset as I used to be when Denny Hamlin wins.
Denny's a goat.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but yeah, it's not like Ty Gibbs or Christopher Bell went in for me. So Denny's not in that category for me.
Jeff Gordon.
You want to catch another stray? I got him. I got him lined
Just
up,
don't
ready
miss.
to.
Don't miss.
I probably will. But yeah, so that was unfortunate, but it was a good race on Sunday, and
I would say great.
they're great.
I thought it was really good.
It was very good. I'd give it a 8.5 out of 10. It was a very solid race. Best Michigan race. It was about on par with last year's race, maybe a little better. The only thing I didn't like a ton was, I said this on my TikTok review. I said, this was the Indianapolis 500 NASCAR style, with the leaders not getting away from each other really, especially the last stage. And just kind of trying to save fuel behind each other, trying to figure out when they could go and when they should. Now, the difference with this and the Indy 500 is, Indy 500, I'm not saying it's easy to pass, but it's easy to get runs and make a pass on them. Even if you wanted to go, like William Byron, William Byron wanted to pass Carson Hocevar before Carson had his problem. He couldn't. It was still very difficult for them to pass. But Denny, when he was good, he drove up there and passed them pretty much. I wouldn't say passed William with ease, but passed Chris and Zane and Ty and Larson with ease. But if it just kind of gave me that Indy 500 feel, NASCAR version, and I don't mind it. I don't want to see that every week. Needs to be a every now and then type of finish, because I don't want fuel mileage to dictate, obviously, every race. But I think it made it more interesting. It made it some guys were good, some guys weren't. The pit strategy in stage 2 was insane. People pitting left and right after those slew of cautions. You just didn't know who was on what strategy, and it's kind of hard to keep up with. So I think Amazon did a decent job of that. But I was at a birthday party for that part, so I don't really know how they handled it. But I kind of understood it from my perspective. But it's always good when strategy is like that. I don't think you want it every week like that. But Michigan's a 2-mile track. It usually comes down to fuel mileage all the time. It's like Pocono. Pocono and Michigan seem like the most two biggest fuel mileage races, it seems like, in NASCAR. So that was good. It's kind of normal, but overall, it was a good race, good finish. I was hoping Chris would catch him after he passed Ty for third and then passed William right before he ran out of gas coming to the white. I said, all right, just need Denny to run out, and we got it, baby, because Chris said he was good on fuel. I didn't know if he was good on fuel until after the race, but I was hoping he wouldn't run out, and because he needed a second. He needed a win, but he needed a good point stay too. So
he jumped Alex in the points.
I mean, everybody just fucking Brad Keselowski's gonna jump Alex Bowman here soon if he keeps racing, keeps on having finishes like that. But yeah, overall good race, 8.5 out of 10. I just wish Chris would have got one more.
Yeah, I'd probably say 8.5, 9, 9.5, somewhere in there, just depending, on, if my memory serves correct. But it seemed like, there's passing throughout the field throughout the day. Even though some cars kind of got mired back in traffic, towards the, second stage because of fuel, and, some guys had to take a little bit more fuel than other guys, and this, that, and the third. A lot of those guys could work their way back up, Denny, and a lot of those Toyotas, specifically William Byron, one of the Chevys, made it through, and Chris actually was not one that had a good second stage. He won stage one, didn't get any stage points in stage two because slow pit stop at the end of the stage, and poor restarts. Really struggled on restarts all day. I think he had the best car. I don't even know if that's debatable. Had the best car in practice, according to a lot of the guys. They said he was going to be the guy to beat.
And even he said that on his post-race interview. He's like, yeah, I had the best car.
Yeah, and he, started fourth, ran fourth for a lot of the first stage, and then, long run Chris came through and, went up there.
Thank God was not the Kansas setup.
Yeah. So, he went up there and took the lead and won stage one, and then you didn't really see him again until that last run.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of had some good pit strategy at the end there, and, restarted like fourth or fifth, like I said, again, and was going to be up there, and was passing Zane for fourth, and got loose underneath him and lost like
four. No, he passed him, but he just got loose off the corner.
Is that what it was? Yeah. And got loose there and lost that spot, lost Denny, and then lost Ty Gibbs as well. So if that one, mistake doesn't happen, he wins this race, because I don't think Denny would have been good enough to get by him. But, kind of sucks because, when and Chris said it in his post-race interview, at least with front stretch, did he even do one with Amazon?
It took him like 45 minutes,
but,
which Amazon is. Yeah. There's some things that we need to work on. That in particular.
Yeah, that's my one gripe with them, is the post-race, they don't interview enough people. But anyways, that one mistake cost Chris the race. Even though second stage was bad, that one, getting loose and losing those 4 spots right there lost him the race, because he was the fastest car on the racetrack, and he was the fastest car on the racetrack at the end of the race, and apparently didn't have to save any fuel. And I think even if that race goes 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 more laps, I think he runs down Denny and gets him. But if fuel wasn't an issue, but finishing second's good for him. Denny winning, I'm not mad at it. I know a lot of people are gonna be, but Denny's great, so
you don't work for 2311.
I want to. I'd take a job over there, but 701st.
Would you take a job at Joe Gibbs Racing?
I would work for any race team, obviously.
That would be. Yeah, I mean, that'd be hard for me.
But anyway,
Toyota team.
701st career start. He's only the 10th person ever to win a race after his 701st or 700th start. 8 of them are in the Hall of Fame. One of them is going to be in the Hall of Fame. That's Kevin Harvick. And then now Denny, he's also going to be a Hall of Famer. So, in very rare air on that one.
And he passed Kyle Busch for the most wins in JGR history.
I didn't know that, but good day for him. Obviously, 3rd win on the season, tied for the most.
Yep.
I think, this is Denny Hamlin. One of the best regular season Cup racers that has ever existed. Now he's just same old story with him is what's it going to look like in the playoffs? Because he's going to be a favorite going into it, even though he's the oldest guy out there. He's still got it, and he just needs a couple breaks in the playoffs and get that championship that I feel he deserves. And I hope he gets one before he retires, because he deserves it. But Sunday, great race, like I said, 8.5, 9.5, somewhere in there, and really. Really happy with that race. I think it was, if it wasn't the best race all year, it was second.
I still think Charlotte was a little bit better, but I agree with you. It's up there, top 3 race of the year for sure. It's close between this race in Kansas. I think it was very close to each other. Ironically, both of my guys were chasing down the the leader in both those races, couldn't get it done. But yeah, solid race in Michigan. I kind of hate now that we only got one race here. Yeah. I feel like 2 races here. Now, the attendance would be a problem for 2 races here. I get it. But the racing itself, I think, would put on, way better racing than Bristol, which I love Bristol.
What they need to do is
better than Martinsville for the most part.
Tear up Texas and build one of these
2-mile Texas tracks.
Yep.
Or a 2-mile Texas, like in Michigan.
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad about it. I'm not mad about it at all. But some notable finishers. Chris finishing second.
Priest and Keselowski.
Priest and Keselowski, 9th and 10th. So 3 top 10s for RFK. When's the last time that happened? Did they have 3? Did they all 3 finish in top 10 earlier this year? I don't think they have.
The only race that would have been possible was Charlotte.
No, Chris didn't finish top 10.
And Chris didn't.
Yeah, he got in that wreck with Carson. Good day for your boys. Chris obviously had a good day for me, but Chase Elliott, 15th yet again. I think he had a really good car, but Alan Gustafson screwed the strategy up majorly. He pitted when they probably shouldn't have, when they were in the top 10 or right there at it, and then could never get it back. It came back to 15th, but they just stupid strategy again for the 9 team when I think they actually had a pretty good car. Stage 2 restarted 4th, passed the top 3 and passed Blaney for the lead. Blew right past him before one of those cautions. So he had a good car. Blaney, I think he had a pretty good car too. Drove up there, got a pit strategy, was able to get the lead, got passed by Chase, but he was still fast. And then he just got loose off 4. Didn't like it. He hit the wall hard, but hit it at the wrong spot, broke a toe link, and went multiple laps down. Wound up finishing 32nd, 3 laps down. So that was frustrating for me, and I'm sure for Blaney and the whole 12 team and Blaney fans overall. But he got the win last week, so you got to worry about that with points at least. But overall, I think Carson Hocevar might have had a chance to win this race. Blew a tire or had a flat tire late while leading. Had to come down pit road, finishing like 29th or so. Alex Bowman, good thing he walked away from that wreck. Hit a ton in the middle of 1 and 2 on a restart. Cole Custer, Chase Briscoe, and somebody else. So overall, a solid race. A lot of things happened, and we'll go to Mexico City this weekend.
You know who's running in this race, Mexico City?
Jimmy Johnson.
No, but Catherine Legg is, so watch out. But anyways.
Easy. You're going to be sexist.
Hey, first off, fuck you, bitch, and click your claim.
Who is in that you're talking about?
What do you mean? Catherine Legg.
Oh, I thought, is that the guy? Or girl?
Yeah, she's running.
Okay, I didn't know if you were talking about somebody else.
Yeah.
Isn't there somebody else racing in this race?
Yeah, 36 other people, actually.
You asshole. You know what I meant.
No.
Okay, just Catherine Legg. I thought it was...
There's 37 entries. But
who doesn't... Isn't Will Brown racing?
He's not on the odds.
Oh, he must be racing at Sonoma or something. Yeah. I know he's racing a road course race.
But anyways...
You know who ain't going to be racing at Mexico City?
Dodge Ram.
Yeah, not yet. but they will be next year.
Are the trucks going to Mexico?
I don't know. They might. I don't know. We can't say that.
No, they're not.
The country south of the track south of the border.
It is Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez.
Yeah, we'll say that. Yeah, but Ram will be back in NASCAR starting next year. They made it official Sunday. It's the worst kept secret in NASCAR, kind of like the Chase Briscoe to Joe Gibbs Racing after Christopher Bell spilled the beans last year.
Who?
After Truex said he was going to retire. Yeah, Ram will be coming back. No news on a team or sponsors or drivers or anything like that yet, but they will be racing next year in the Truck Series. So Dodge makes a return to NASCAR. What do you think about it?
Well, as we said before, I think it's the more manufacturers, the better. I know that there was the guy, I can't remember the name of the parent company, but the guy that's like the CEO of the parent company owns Dodge, Ram, Fiat, all those brands. Yeah, he said that he would like to have
6 or 7, right?
Yeah, a bunch of cars in the Truck Series, or a bunch of trucks in the Truck Series. He also said, though, that he wanted to join
the dark side,
the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series. That was the end goal, is to be in all 3 series. And this is similar. I think it's going to turn out the way Toyota did it. Toyota went to trucks in 2004, I believe, and then ended up in Xfinity, or Busch at the time, in 2007, and I think, or 2008, it was somewhere in there.
2007.
Yeah, 2007 for the Cup and the Xfinity
Yeah.
cars. They both started the same year with Joe Gibbs. So
Nope. Michael Waltrip.
Yes.
And Bill Davis.
Yes, and then Joe Gibbs went in like 09.
08. The first year of the
COT.
Full year of the COT. Yeah.
So-
Tony Stewart's
so-
last year.
So Kyle
Joe
Busch
Gibbs.
won that Bristol race in the COT in a Chevrolet?
07, yep. He was still at Hendrick in the 5 car. Yes, sir. These cars suck.
Yeah. Anyways.
I wonder what he'd say now about the COT compared to this car.
Yeah.
I think he'd love the COT.
He said in practice at, maybe it was in the race last week, but he said that these cars suck again, pretty much. He's not a fan of them. You can't pass. But anyways, back to what we were
he's
talking
not
about.
necessarily wrong, but you can't be talking. You can't, it's hard for you to complain when you ain't winning.
Yeah, well.
Go win.
Anyways, so Ram going to be in the Truck Series.
Kyle Busch racing for Ram.
Maybe. I think what you're gonna end up see happening, and I know this is probably the obvious team, but I think ThorSport's going to be the one that goes over there as far as the big teams.
That's what I said.
And the reason that is because they don't really have any loyalty. They've been Ford, they've been Toyota, they've been Ford, they've been Toyota. If fucking
They're Ford now. Again.
Honda Ridgeline made a fucking Truck Series, they'd probably drive
They
one
used
of
to
them.
be Chevys too, way back in the day.
I think so, but they've been everything there is to be, and I don't think they have any brand loyalty as far as that goes. So I think they're going to be the big team that foots the bill on that. Apparently, GMS.
GMS.
I'm talking about the damn
GMH.
hospital. GMS is
Granville Memorial is going to come to the trucks.
they're gonna they might be involved somehow, even though they've sold their stake in Legacy Motor Club to Jimmy Johnson. They might have some kind of involvement with this new Dodge thing they got going on, which makes me believe, and this was always my thought, that if Dodge comes to Cup, it's going to be Legacy that goes with Dodge, mostly because of
They used to be Dodge.
the Richard Petty
Yeah.
alliance there, that they got that going for them. And then you've also got the fact that they do run Toyotas right now, but they're on their own. They don't get any help from anybody. So
And I think they're the team in the Cup Series that has switched manufacturers the most the past 10 years.
Yeah.
They used to be Dodge,
Ford,
they went to
Dodge,
Ford, then they went to
Chevrolet,
Chevy, and now they're at
Toyota. They've been
done
all
it,
of them.
Yeah, the
in
past 15 years.
Yeah. So, because they were Dodges until Dodge ran out, right? 2012, they were the 43 was a Dodge, was it not?
No, I think they had already switched to Ford before Dodge closed up. I think Penske was the only major Dodge team when they closed.
I know that, they've been a Dodge. I think they ran Pontiacs for a little while way back then, too. But you're right. Richard Petty, RPM, they've always been, they've not really had any brand loyalty either.
I think they switched in like 08, 09.
Yeah, it makes
to
sense.
Ford.
With when not Bobby. Was it Bobby?
I think they was still in a Dodge with Bobby. But when Eric came over, I think they were a Ford. Or AJ. It was AJ. They were a Ford team with AJ and
Eric.
No, AJ and Marcus Ambrose. They were Fords.
Oh, well, you're talking about the other car. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Dodge coming back is a good thing. Technically, it's Ram. Dodge and Ram are technically separate entities. Yeah. So Ram is going to be in the Truck Series there. It's going to say Ram on the hood, not Dodge.
It looks just like a Toyota from the front.
They kind of do, but all those trucks look the same, to be honest. But I think it's a good thing. We talked about Cletus possibly hopping in a ride for them next year. We'll see how that goes. They didn't say anything about that. They didn't announce any drivers, teams, or sponsors or anything like that. But I think it's already set in stone who it's going to be, and we'll hear soon who that is. There's that.
Sorry, guys. I had to stop the camera before it stops on its own. Dodge, jackass, or Ram going to the trucks is cool. We heard rumors about it a couple years ago, and then it kind of, fizzed off, fiddled, whatever, how you ever want to say that. So it's good to see Ram back in there, and I think Dodge is not too far behind. You said a lot what I was thinking. Thor Sport, I think, will be the truck team to make a leap, a jump. It could be somebody else. I'm trying to think of some other teams that could switch over. Spire's not going anywhere. I don't think Front Row's going anywhere. That Toyota team that took over for DGR. Is that what? No, it's called something else now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's something else.
Yeah, the Corey Haim and the Toyota's team, I don't think they're going anywhere. So you can see some small teams in the Truck Series switch over to Dodge if it just fits and they just feel like they need some more help, more backing, start kind of fresh start. I could see a couple of small teams joining, but I think Thor Sport's the main one that could hop over just because they've been hippie hopping and all over the manufacturing pool the past 10 years. So they seem to not be comfortable staying at one manufacturer for a long time, and Dodge, I think, opens up a great opportunity for them to get a fresh start. They haven't been all that good this year either, so their performance has been slowly declining the past couple of years. I know Tom Majeski just won the championship last year, but it's kind of a Mickey Mouse championship, one race thing. He deserved it, but it's just kind of is what it is. But this year they've really struggled. I don't think they have a win yet between any of their drivers, and so it makes sense for them to switch over. And I think this is huge for NASCAR as a whole. We know we've been talking about this fourth manufacturer for years since Dodge left in 2012. We're like, man, 3 manufacturers. Even the teams and drivers have said, like, we need 4 manufacturers. It just makes sense. And we've had only 3 the past 13 years. And it's killed some of the money in the sport. You get more manufacturers in here, more money, more eyeballs, more everything. So it's always good, and I think it's going to lead to Dodge coming back in 2028 in the Xfinity Series and Cup Series, maybe 2029. It's going to take that same path as Toyota did in 04 to 07 with the truck to Xfinity and Cup thing. So excited for it. Glad it's happening. And then do you, now that Ram is coming back and Dodge is probably coming behind them, do you see Honda or somebody? Because Honda was a talking point that they could join the series. Is that done for now?
I don't think it's done for. I just don't think it's likely. I never thought they were going to be in the Truck Series to begin with.
Honda and trucks just never seemed like it.
They have a truck, but it's. I don't know.
It's not their moneymaker.
That's not the market I think they're trying to get in, and I don't really see their. The problem with Honda, and that's That's the problem I'm going to have with Dodge, too, if they try to get back in the Cup Series and the Xfinity Series. They don't really have a performance car anymore. They're getting rid of the Challenger. They're getting rid of the Charger. Honda's got the Civic. I mean, they have the Type R Civic, which is a fun little sporty car, but it's a 4-cylinder. It's a turbocharged 4-cylinder.
Hey, what's wrong with 4 cylinders now? My truck out there is a 4-cylinder.
Yeah, I get it.
It's a Ford fucking Ranger.
The problem with it is Honda doesn't make a V8. So, why are they going to be? That doesn't make any sense to me. And that's where I have a lot of the issue with the way that these teams are doing this. Is this is supposed to be stock car racing, and Dodge still makes the Hemi V8. They were going to quit, and now they're bringing it back, and they're
bringing it to NASCAR.
Bringing it to NASCAR.
Hell yeah. 180.
Chevy still makes a V8, but they don't put it in very many cars or trucks.
Getting rid of the Camaro.
Ford makes a V8, but they put it in the Mustang. That's it. So, it's just, the auto manufacturers are going so far left of what NASCAR's doing. You can't, and it's been that way forever. But I don't know if you can really even consider it stock car racing anymore. So I guess with that being said, Honda doesn't have to have a performance car to market it off of, but it would still be weird to me to see a man like Toyota. They don't make a fucking V8 car. What the fuck? But it could happen. I just don't see it being very likely because I don't know if, and I'm not a marketing professional or anything, but I don't know if it's worth it to Honda to spend all that money when nobody's gonna like them.
Well, they're an Indy car. Right.
They don't want to be.
Yeah. So, I mean.
That's the only way I could see them coming to NASCAR is if they have a breakup with the Indy stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be.
That's where I was getting at. I think the only way Honda really joins now is if IndyCar and them just come to an agreement to part ways. And then I think Honda does need some type of presence in motorsports in America. And I know they have other stuff. I think they're in.
They do dirt bikes. They do
stuff like that, but
obviously Formula
motorsports.
1. They've got the. I think they have a sports car series that they run Hondas in over in Europe and all that.
But I think they need to be in a top tier motorsport as far as popularity goes in the country. So if IndyCar and them break up, I think they could try to get into NASCAR. Like you said, I don't know how it's really going to fit, but the way the automotive industry's been going here lately, I think it's fine. So glad to see Ram back. It's always good for NASCAR. It makes the sport, I think, healthier. And Dodge fans I know there's some out there, Dodge fans that quit watching NASCAR because that was their manufacturer. It wasn't as popular as Ford and Chevy, or anything like that. But you had Dodge fans out there, so this is one way to try to get those fans back, get them interested in the sport again, and it could only help.
Yeah, the last thing I'll say on new manufacturers is since the auto manufacturers are going, all these 100 different ways with their motors and stuff, what I'd like to see from NASCAR is and they're never going to do it, but if they want to entice these teams to come in, what they should do is open up the rule book a little bit and let them build whatever they want to build as far as motors go. So if Ford wants to bring a naturally aspirated V8 with 850 horsepower, that's fine. If Honda wants to bring a 4-cylinder twin turbocharged 850 horsepower motor, that's fine. If Chevy wants to bring a supercharged V6 with 850 horsepower, that's fine. They shouldn't. I think it would be okay if they let the teams build what they want as long as they have a specification they have to build it to. And that, I think, would entice Honda and other, Nissan or whoever that you want to come to your sport. If they could build a motor or use a motor that they're already building and put it in a race car and, maybe just, beef it up a little bit or, tune it up a little bit to meet your specifications and make it faster, That would be a lot easier to get teams or new manufacturers over if they were building whatever motor they wanted to specific specifications, specific horsepower, specific torque, specific weight. If they could build a motor to those specifications instead of saying, hey, you have to have a fuel-injected V8 that makes this much horsepower, it's got to have this much displacement. They're going to have to design a whole new motor to come over because that's not a motor they make. So I think it would be a lot easier if they opened it up a little bit, but I don't see that happening. But that's just an idea.
Yeah, good one. Well, here is an idea. 2311 and Front Row Motorsports might not have charters.
Good. Even though I am trying to get a job there, apparently.
Yeah. Denny's great. So the injunction that took place in December or January, the judge ruled that the "you can't sue us" thing, which allowed the teams of 2311 and Front Row Motorsports, even if they didn't sign the charter agreement last year, they could still race as chartered entries for the 2025 season as the lawsuit continues and won't get settled until December. Well, about a month ago, judge ruled,
You can't do that.
You can't do that. Can't have your cake and eat it too. That famous line saying if you didn't sign the agreement, you can't allow it to take place like the other teams do. They did sign the agreement, and then the final one agreed with the second judge and said, you can't do that. So now, 2311 and Front Row could possibly lose their charters because they ruled in favor of NASCAR. NASCAR could take away their charters, which I think they probably will. They have a 14-day period to appeal it.
They're appealing the appeal, though. This is the third appeal. Because NASCAR appealed the original decision, and now 2311 has 14 days to appeal the appeal.
The injunction that went against them now, that went for them in December.
Which they're going to lose.
Who?
2311.
Yeah, I think they're going to lose. So, if they appeal it, they still have their charters. That's why I think they're waiting so long. I think they're going to wait till the last day to do it, to file an appeal. That way they can drag it on as long as they can to keep those charters until, if they ultimately lose, they have the less amount of time in the season to not have charters. So, legal stuff always is frustrating because it's kind of hard to explain.
Yeah.
But
there's a lot of verbiage and a lot of ongoings that the common layperson will not understand.
Yeah.
And in this scenario, this is one of the more simple cases, and it's still fucking very convoluted and very, very, very difficult to explain.
Yeah.
And it's confusing because, NASCAR is probably in the wrong as far as the grand scheme of things goes, right? They're probably going to lose the lawsuit in general. In my opinion, I think 2311 has the better case. And, I tend to agree with a lot of what 2311 is alleging NASCAR is doing. But in this specific scenario, and I know we mentioned this when it first came out, is that, NASCAR has a set of rules. You didn't sign that set of rules. You can't compete under those rules, in my opinion, and nor should you be allowed to. And it seems like the courts have agreed with that.
Yeah.
Now, there is two separate ways I see this going. I see NASCAR. I don't know if NASCAR is going to do this, but I see a road where this could happen. NASCAR could say, hey, we're not going to do anything to you guys. We're not going to punish you. We're not going to take your charters away. We're not going to say you're not getting any money from us. We're not going to kick you out of the sport. But, I don't see that happening. They could do that, but they're not going to. I think what's more likely is 2311 is going to have to compete as a non-chartered team for the next...
And Front Row.
Yeah, and Front Row. For the next 20 weeks, whatever's left in this race season. until the lawsuit is final. Once the lawsuit's final, they can then ask for, like, if they win, they can ask to be, and probably will be, reimbursed for the money loss during this time. So that's something that the courts can require NASCAR to do, is to pay them the damages from this time period.
Because if you're not a chartered member,
you lose money.
You lose money. You don't get nearly much as
even
purse
if,
money.
Even if
you're
you
not
win the
guaranteed a
championship.
starting spot. Yeah.
So
Make the playoffs. I don't even think you get the same. The playoffs thing, I'm not sure.
you do not have to be a chartered member to have a guaranteed spot in the playoffs.
Well, I'm not saying that, but the
money
for
payout
the
is less,
playoffs.
yes.
That's what I was getting to.
Bubba Wallace, the 45, the 36, if he somehow makes it up
35.
there, or the 35, excuse me, if he somehow makes it up there, they will still be eligible for the playoffs. They will still be eligible for the championship. The points will be exactly the same. If they win a race, they're in. There's no question about that.
As long as you start every race.
As long as you attempt. They don't even have to start every race, because if they're not chartered, they're not guaranteed in.
Yeah.
So if for whatever reason, they show up.
That's a question, though. If they don't make it, let's say Riley Herbst, he wins at Daytona, but he failed to.
As long as he attempted to qualify, he's fine.
Okay, I didn't know
That's
that.
it. That's the
I thought
rule.
you had to make it.
You have to attempt to qualify. So if he wins at Daytona but fails to qualify this weekend, well, let's just say they took the charters away this weekend. If he failed at Autodromo,
Michigan,
Autodromo Ricardo Hispania, whatever the name of that track is. If he failed to qualify this weekend and then he went out and won next weekend, he would still be eligible for the playoffs based on that win because he tried to qualify. The other point that could happen, I don't think it's going to, is NASCAR could really fuck 2311 right here. So what happens if 2311's charters are taken away, you know who owns them?
Michael Jordan.
Yeah, well, who will own them if this appeal goes through?
NASCAR.
NASCAR owns them.
Yeah.
What if they sell them?
Will you? But they're so expensive. Will you have suitors to buy all those charters?
Roush needs a third one.
They got a third.
They're leasing
one. Yeah.
There are teams out there that would buy. Dale Earnhardt wants one.
Then you'd have to get rid of the leasing one that they have because you can't have 4 charters in a team
that's my
anymore
point,
because you're other than Hendrick and Gibbs.
Yeah, they're grandfathered in. But what I'm saying is NASCAR could legally sell those charters because they're legally theirs.
Yeah, but you got to have suitors to have something to buy.
That's why I'm saying I don't know if it's super likely.
Yeah.
But if NASCAR wanted to fuck these teams, they could. They could royally fuck them.
Well, what happens if they win the lawsuit in December?
That's why I don't think NASCAR is going to do it. Is because they would.
What do you do?
They would have to pay them back for the damages, which would be $50 million or whatever
per charter.
Per charter, and at 2311's got 3 of them.
Yeah.
And Front Row's
got 3 of them.
3 of them. So that's 3 times 50 is 150 times 2
million.
is $300 million at least that they would have to pay out just based on the charters if they lose the lawsuit. So NASCAR could royally fuck these teams for a little while, but I think it would end up biting them. So I don't know if this is really going to show up as a difference on the racetrack, but it is interesting as far as the money goes with 2311 and Front Row.
And we didn't even really talk about it. Kind of slipped under the radar a couple weeks ago with the France family trying to get a. I think they were trying to get a team and a race team for Sonoma or something in a couple weeks. If they take those charters away from 2311 and Front Row, then they got tons of. They could build a whole damn mega team. With all the charters they're going to get, but I don't see them doing it, and I personally don't think that's right. I don't want the France family to have a team.
I don't either.
I think that's kind of
it's like
eating your cake and eat it, or having your cake and eat it too.
It's like Roger Penske owning a team in a series that he owns,
and the best team in the series mainly. That's very true. So yeah, I don't like that idea, but overall, it's not good for 2311 and Front Row. I don't think it's the end of the world. Denny Hamlin doesn't seem all of that. Now he can't go to the public and be panicked about it, but he was like, it's a small piece of pie. the main part is in December. I'm not really worried about it. We'll have to, and he said it. We'll run open if we have to. We've discussed that, and talked to all their employees how it's going to go, and if certain things go the way they think they could.
I think they knew that this was a possibility.
Yeah.
When they started this lawsuit, 9-10 months ago.
Yeah. They got a head start by winning it, getting the injunction to be able to for the first half of the year.
So I think they were probably surprised that they won that part of it to begin with. So I don't think that this changes anything for them. So we'll, like Denny said, the main piece of the pie will be decided in the off season, and that's what will actually affect change, should it need to, or should the courts decide that change is needed. I'm kind of indifferent on the whole situation. I don't think it's going to change anything on Sundays. It's not going to change my money. It's not going to change my bottom dollar. I'm going to watch the race either way. I don't think the common fan will notice any difference based on this, ruling on the injunction. And, like I said, in December, we'll see the real change affected.
When December ends?
Wake me up.
In December. That's September.
September, yeah.
Taylor Swift has a song about December, doesn't it?
I go back to December all the time. That's a banger.
That is. That's when she was good. One more aspect of this is the driver's aspect. Tyler Reddick is the main one. I think he has a no charter clause.
Yep.
That
if he doesn't have a chartered car,
he could leave at any point. It's not a what's that called? Breaking your contract.
Breach of contract.
Yeah, breach of contract.
Technically, 2311 is breaching the contract by not having a charter for him.
Yes,
that's why he
could leave. I don't know about Bubba and Front Row. I don't know how their contracts are with Zane and Todd and Noah. But Tyler Reddick's the main one where he could go to Hendrick if they kick out Alex Bowman. If he continues, which I don't think if I was Reddick, I'd stay right there at 45, 48. It's got speed, but Hendrick, they're fast, but the 5 and the 24 are fast. I wouldn't leave to go to the fourth Hendrick car. I'd stay at the first 1311 car. And he's been good this year, but just not great.
Technically, he's in the second 2311 car. Bubba Wallace was the first.
That's true. So, but he's a better driver than Bubba. That's not racist. I'm
barely
not going after him, after Bubba here. I'm just saying
here recently he's not been showing it.
Well, Bubba's had 2 good weeks in a row. Let's pump the brakes on Bubba Wallace, okay? Yes, he's had 2 good runs, but
this is the best year of his career, consistency-wise.
That's because of all the stage points earlier, but then he went through a rough patch. Now that 23 team usually starts off slow and then picks up as the summer goes on. So if he continues to do that,
who else has had a really rough year? Brad Keselowski.
Yeah.
I don't mean he bad at racing drunk cars.
Well, I know, but Brad this year is like 2022 Brad.
Yeah,
2023 and 2024. 2023 and 2024. He didn't start off. Bubba Wallace does this every year. And he always is on the cut line if you don't want to race. And Brad's a 30-something race winner. I think we can get Brad the benefit of the doubt more than Bubba.
That's fair. But Bubba's in a better car.
Maybe.
No, not maybe.
It's pretty close.
Bubba's car is better than Brad's.
Okay, you got to think. Certain weeks, certain tracks, yes. Other tracks, certain weeks, no. It's based off the track, how you set it up, how good the driver is. It's not just about.
On average,
if you
show up to an average race car track, NASCAR track.
What's an average race car track?
I'm saying if you combine every single track together to make one track. If you take the average of all the tracks and make one track, and you take the average of all the race weekends and put them together, and an average of Brad's car and Bubba's car at the average track, Bubba's car is better than Brad's car.
I say 1 lap speed, yep. Beginning of the run, yep. Middle and end of the run, I'll take Brad.
I would say I would say the super speedway
And
stuff.
that's based off setup and driver skill.
I would say the super speedway stuff is even.
When Brad ain't wrecking people, yeah.
Is even. I would say the 1.5 mile stuff goes to Bubba.
Yeah.
I would say the road course stuff goes to Bubba. I would say the
short track
stuff goes to Brad, but I would say the 2 mile oval stuff, which there's only one of them now, but that goes to Bubba. He finished 4th this week. I guess you could lump Pocono in that. Bubba's better there. The car's better there. So I think
that's what I'm saying, though. It's all about setup and what the track is. It's hard to say Bubba has a better car every week than Brad Keselowski.
no, he doesn't. But on average, he does. If you take the average race, the average track, Bubba's better.
Probably. He's got more.
Even though Brad is a better driver.
I think the car does have more raw speed
Yes.
than the 6 car. Yes.
I think the Toyotas in general have more raw speed than
most of the
Fords.
Fords. Most of the Fords.
usually.
Except for Ryan Blaney because he's a goat.
Where'd he finish?
Higher than.
Can you take me higher?
Higher than Cody. No, I think Cody Ware beat him. Higher than Bowman.
Yeah, so did literally everyone else.
That is true.
Hit that button.
Hit that button for RTT ripping the topics.
Ripping the topics.
Ripping the top off.
Hey, do you know
Your
the Broncos are signing J.K. Dobbins
That dude's
to a
shit.
1 year, $5.25
Hey,
million
how did that 2019 Ohio State team do with J.K. Dobbins in the Fiesta Bowl?
Should have won that game.
But they didn't. Go Tiger.
Did they lose to LSU?
Huh? At least we made it
You
there,
said
baby.
go Tigers.
No, we lost it. No, we lost to LSU. We beat them.
Go Tigers.
Yeah, we're gonna find
Joe
out.
Shiesty, baby.
We're gonna find out week 1, August 30th, 31st. whatever it
LSU
is.
by 35.
Okay.
I think the game's over by the end of the first
Hey.
quarter. I think it looks worse than App State Clemson.
You ain't ready for the Enter Sandman Hokies Sunday. You have a bad Sunday.
No, I'm
You
not.
have a bad
Brad
Sunday.
Keselowski's going to win the Darlington race. And
LSU's gonna beat Clemson.
LSU's going to beat
Okay.
Clemson. South Carolina going to beat Virginia Tech by 72.
What's the score? 74-2.
No, 73-1.
I don't know if that's possible.
It's going to be 79.
Nice. Oh, that's 60. 79 is a new 69.
Anyways, ripping the topics presented by no one because nobody sponsors this.
EJ Stat of the Night, presented by no one. We need some sponsors.
Yep.
That'd be nice.
Call it Bush Light, see if they'll sponsor us.
Hey, we should. I mean, we make this company.
We spend a
Bukus of
lot
money.
of money with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who's going to spend a lot of money in baby bills?
You.
Denny. That's
Me.
huh?
Us. I'm pregnant.
We're pregnant. It's 2025. We can do whatever you want.
I am a pregnant black woman.
Yep. Trapped in a
I'm
white
getting
man's
canceled.
body. Yeah. No, you're fine for that. You can say
Just
whatever
can't
you want.
say the country south of
Yeah,
the border.
Can't say that. Denny Hamlin is the guy I'm referring to. He could mix. He could miss Mexico or shit. He could miss
Autodroma, Ricardo Rodriguez,
Yes.
El Patron,
Yes, Raceway this weekend.
El Taco
Because
Raceway.
that baby boy is not wanting to get out of his mama.
Hey, tell you what, ever since I came out, I've been trying to get back in one the whole time.
I don't think that worked too well.
I'm telling you. Hey, since the day I came out, I've been trying to find one to get back in. That's all I'm saying.
No, I get
That's
it.
the goal.
I get it. Maybe they got something like that in heaven for you.
When I get where I'm going.
But no, Denny's son still not has been born, and he pretty much said on SiriusXM radio, said if he ain't came out by Thursday, he ain't going to Mexico City. So
They could. I don't understand why they don't go and deuce. It don't make no sense to me. But
yeah, I guess Jordan doesn't want to do that. So I don't blame her. Just
Who
take the toll
cares?
on your
She's
body.
a woman.
Now that'll get us canceled. We love women.
Do you know why the Queen is the most?
No, we're not doing that joke. It's awful.
That's a good joke.
Now you're really trying to get us canceled.
Do you know why the woman or the Queen is the
You
most?
told me this at the gym
important-
yesterday.
Is the most powerful chess piece, and it is. A woman is the most powerful chess piece. Yes, the
Something
Queen.
about the kitchen.
The chessboard resembles a kitchen floor.
Yeah.
Why she moves so well on it?
Jesus Christ. Denny might miss Mexico. Fuck. Otto Dro Ramirez, El Patron, El Titanic. What do you think he will? And do you think that's
I think he will. The baby ain't been born yet. It's Tuesday at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 6 o'clock in the afternoon.
He could be giving birth. They could be giving birth right now.
They could be, but it wasn't born yesterday. So far, it ain't been born today.
It's supposed to be born in Nashville.
So
Nashville
if it ain't born tomorrow, he ain't gonna be there. And who's gonna race that car
Ryan
for him?
Truex.
Ryan Truex. Probably gonna win the race. Boy's a hell of a race car driver.
Okay.
NASCAR will probably give him a waiver on that, but you know,
Does NASCAR's in 2311 lawsuit with them come into play with this? Nah, Denny, fuck you.
I don't think so. They could, but I don't think
That would be some
I don't.
fucked up
I don't
shit.
think they would, but yeah, I don't think he's going. I don't think he's going to be there. I don't. I think it's more likely than not that he ain't going to be there. So I think they're going to have to induce. I really do, because I'm not a doctor or anything, but usually when they don't want to come out, they don't want to come out.
Yeah.
So you're going to
It's a
have.
little dangerous for the mother.
It does.
And the baby.
I mean, you can go, a couple weeks.
Which they're about there right now.
Past due time, but they usually don't like to do that, from what I understand. But I had a buddy that just had a baby that they were a couple weeks overdue and ended up having to induce. So it happens. Apparently, I talked to a girl that said that she went about a month and a half.
Good Lord.
Because she didn't want to induce. So
She was pregnant for 11 months?
yeah, about 10 and a half months.
God almighty.
So, it's possible. I don't know.
That baby came out, could get his driver's license.
Yeah, that baby came out walking. Anyways, I don't think he's going to be there. I don't.
All right. Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with you. I would like to see him there this weekend. We don't get into the waiver controversy because on this show, how we felt about several of the waivers that have been given out the past couple of years. Kyle Larson's last year and Chase Elliott's the year before, and I think Bowman had one. They gave one to Kurt Busch, but never came back, but they did give him one. You can get a waiver for about anything, as long as you got. Have they changed it this year? If you get suspended, you don't get one anymore, right?
Correct.
So, but till this year, even if you got suspended, you would still get one if NASCAR deemed it, and usually they would. So, I get it. If family comes first. After watching that Earnhardt documentary, you really understand that family should come first. So I don't blame Denny for missing it if he does miss this weekend. And he's had 2 girls. He's about to have a boy, so he wants to be there for the birth of his son. I don't blame him. Hope everything goes well. And I think this is the only scenario where I think a waiver is understandable. I know you don't feel that way, but I think if you're having a baby or, your dad or somebody in your family, close family, is in critical condition after, wreck or they're about to die, I understand that. If you're about to have a kid or one of your family members is about to die, I understand that. Waiver, cool. But if anything other than that, shouldn't be a waiver. But in this scenario, I think he'll get one, and I don't see nothing wrong with it because you'll get to see the birth of your kids once. You can go race in Mexico City next year if you're still racing. So I get it, and hopefully he can make it. Hopefully that sun comes out today or tomorrow or whatever. He can have no problems.
Yep.
Truck race, boy, that was a fucking mess. It was fun. It was fun for a while.
I didn't know it started so soon, so I watched the last 20 laps.
You watched the worst part of the race.
Um,
Carson Hocevar was really fast. Led a lot of laps. Corey Heim was really fast. I missed the beginning of it too. I think Lane Riggs pretty fast. So there were some good guys, some really good racing before that last call. Ross was really fast. He had a hell of a save off of 2, battling Carson there towards the end before all those wrecks started happening. So good battling between Ross and Carson and Corey, and I think Grant Enfinger was up there too. And Lane Riggs. I mean, it was a great battle, going back and forth for the lead, getting huge runs on each other, trying to pass each other, slide jobbing each other without wrecking. And then, of course, a caution happened. I forgot what it was for. Right after the Ross half spin, was able to save it. And that's when it got messy. A whole bunch of wrecks on the restarts, a big old pile up on one of those restarts where I think it was the 17 of Gio just didn't go, and Corey piled in the back of him, spun his tires, and then turned him into the field, and a big old pile up ensued, and it got messy. And then fucking Stuart Friesen, who ran 15th all day, wins the race on a restart because the top 3 chose the top, and he chose the bottom and won the race. Didn't deserve to win the race. Did a great job on the restart, passed Grant Enfinger cleanly, but it was just a mess. The finish really dampened the how good this race was. It was I think the racing for the first 85% of the race was a lot like the Cup Series race. Like, it was very good racing, and the last 15% just got ruined because of all the wrecks and just how it turned out. So it was a good race until it wasn't. It's kind of how to describe this race.
Yeah, like you said, I watched the worst part of the race, obviously. Unfortunate to see that it ended that way. You know, based on what I hear, it's a pretty good race up until when I flipped the TV on. So
I even texted you.
Yeah.
I said, man, this truck race is insane.
yeah, but it ended up being terrible. With pit strategy and cars spinning tires and people getting wrecked and restarts and
Hey, Frankie Muniz got a top 15 though.
Yeah, and he was running second at one point.
Oh, he got a terrible
just the worst restart I've ever
he
seen.
was restarting 5th.
Chris Buescher style restart.
Oh, that was worse than Chris Buescher.
Barely, but it was, and it's just. I wish I would have been able to see the beginning part of it to comment, but the part that I saw sucked. And then, like you said, a guy that's kind of undeserving of the win wins the race. So kind of disappointing from that aspect, but apparently it was a good race before then.
Yeah, it was a very solid race up until that point. Well, Carson Hocevar almost won the truck race on Saturday. Had a flat tire. Had to pit, and ultimately from the Ross contact with him while leading. Then Sunday was leading and had another flat tire.
Yeah.
Finished second at Nashville last week. Was running top 3 at Charlotte before he blew a motor on a restart. And then this week, was leading and lost the tire. So that 77 team has figured out the speed aspect on how to have race-winning speed now. They were top 5 speed earlier in the year. I think they've got to winning speed now. So the question really is, when will Carson break through? And is it sooner rather than later?
I do. I think it's sooner rather than later. I think he's going to win. I think he would have won the race at Charlotte if he didn't blow up.
I think him and Ross would have wrecked each other.
That's a possibility, but Charlotte was a really good opportunity for him. Last week, obviously, good opportunity for him. Leading the race. He wasn't going to win because he was going to run out of fuel anyway, but very fast race car, putting yourself in position. Eventually, you're going to get one. I say it all the time. You run top 5 enough, you're going to win one just on luck. And he's running better than top 5. He's running first and second most weeks for periods of a lot of races. So he's going to grab one. It's not going to be this weekend. He ain't a road course ringer by any stretch of the imagination. Probably never raced at Autodromo do Ricardo Herrera El Patron or whatever it's called. So, don't look for him to win this weekend, but there's some some good tracks coming up that he could win. Ran second at Atlanta earlier in the year. Pocono probably be a good spot for him.
Ran top 5 at Bristol. Until he had his pit road problem.
Yeah, Bristol's good opportunity. I think he gets at least one before the end of the year. I don't know if he'll win before the playoffs, but a lot of opportunities for him to do so. I think it comes sooner rather than later. I think he wins a race this year.
Yeah, I agree with you. In my preseason playoff predictions, I almost had him making the playoffs, and I chose Brad over him. And unless Brad wins the race, that's definitely not going to happen. And Carson has had way more speed throughout the season than Brad has. So that pick's kind of haunting me. Wish I would have picked Carson because I think he will win a race. It's good. It's a good theory of you, though. Comment. I just don't know if he'll win before the playoffs. He could. I mean, there's track. Obviously, the mile and a half stuff, the intermediate package is where they're the best at. And we got. I don't think we have a ton of road courses coming up, and like you said, that's not his strong suit. You got a Richmond, you got a Pocono, he could be strong at there. You got a Daytona and Atlanta, which he finished second in the spring. Was fast there in the spring, so he could win Atlanta, but it's so much chaos going on in that race. Daytona, the same thing. And it's just the end of the regular season really doesn't line up too well for him. Indy, he could win at Indy. That's an intermediate track, 4 distinct corners, though. You got to be smooth. And I feel like Carson's racecraft might catch up to him there. And it's really hard to win the Indy Oval when you're young. So other than Jeff Gordon, because he's a GOAT. But, I definitely see him winning. I could see him winning the first round of the playoffs. You got Gateway. That was his first career start in a 7 car, and he was running top 15 before he blew a tire. So he's good at Gateway in the past. New Hampshire, I can see him being fast. New Hampshire, a lot of the tracks in the playoffs suit Carson. So if he can sneak his way into the playoffs or on points, which is a possibility, it's going to be tough. But if he keeps on having top 5 runs, he will gain on that cut line, and maybe you got surprise winners. But you need to win a race, I think, if you're in Carson's position to make the playoffs. So if he can win a race before the playoffs start. The first round of the playoffs really lines up well for him. So he go to second round, and you just never know what could happen after that. So I think he will win a race at the end of the year. However, I will say this. We've seen this a lot. We saw this with Chase Elliott a lot in his early years. He's going to win one. He's so close, and it took him 3 years. Took him 199 starts to win one. Same thing with William Byron. He's going to win one. Took him till his third year, like Chase's first win. Took his third year. We're still waiting on Ty Gibbs to win a race. We thought he would win for sure in these first 3 years. He hadn't got it done yet, and still waiting on him. So, I think Carson has the talent, raw speed. I think finally the equipment's starting to come along with it, with his skill. So, I think he'll get it done. I just don't know if he'll get it done before the playoffs or not, and it's not a guarantee he'll win a race this year, but if they continue to build momentum like this, I think they'll definitely win next year and be in the playoffs. So, he's very close. But we've seen this from guys before in their younger years, be really close every week, and it just never works out. When you get that first one, I feel like when he gets that first one, he might not reel off a couple in a row, but he'll win a few more in a decent amount of races, because he's just got once he gets that taste of it, I think he could go on a run.
Yeah.
Hit that boot. Attaboy.
Attaboy. Roush, Fenway, Keselowski Racing.
Who?
Yeah, them guys. Yeah, we them boys. Hold up.
We them boys.
Hold up. We them boys. All 3 cars in the top 10 when, at the beginning of the race, only one was competitive. In the middle of the race, none of them were competitive. And then wind up having a car, should have won the race. And then, having a car run a 9th and 10th, always a good end of the day. To be fair, probably should have been 10th and 11th. You had Carson cut a tire down. Obviously, he was going to run out of fuel. Then you had the 24.
So 11th and 12th.
Yeah, probably could have been 11th and 12th, but the 24 ran out of fuel as well. So, good finish for those boys either way. But they had the right strategy. The other two didn't. So, good finishing for them. Chris is 20 points to the good on playoff cut line now. Priest is tied with the 8 car for the last spot. Obviously, that cut line's going to move, so he needs to do a little bit more. And then the 6 car is showing a little bit more speed here recently. So, good tracks coming up for all of them. Chris could win this weekend. I don't think he's gonna, but a very good road course racer. And then, you got some super speedway stuff coming up and all that for the 6 and the 60. So looking up for those boys, and just always a good day when you have 3 cars of the top 10 and you're a 3-car team.
Yes, indeed. Where the fuck you going? You ain't gonna you gonna piss right here. My attaboy from Michigan. I've given it to this guy a couple of times this year, or if I haven't, I probably should have. Give me Zane Smith for my attaboy, man. He continues to not surprise me because I saw the talent in Zane in the Truck Series. And last year when he had the horrific start to the season with Spire, I said, he going to figure it out. That team's still not good. I mean, he had nobody. Carson would have a good run every now and then, but even Zane, even that team wouldn't have a whole lot of good runs, not compared to what they're doing this year. Let's give him time. Second half of the year, he figured it out, got a couple second-place finishes, got some top 10s, running top 15 a lot at the end of last year. I said, he moved to Front Row. I said, that's a good move. He obviously won a championship in the trucks with Front Row. I said, he's going to be the best Front Row driver this year. I picked him to win 2 races and make the playoffs. Now, that was probably jumping the gun a little bit. But, man, he continues to run top 12 every week while Noah Gregson and Todd Gillen are back there fucking around for 25th. Noah's has had his moments. He was good at Charlotte. But for the most part, Zane Smith is kicking their asses right now at Front Row. And he reminds me of this. This is reminding me of 2018 Hendrick with Chase Elliott. Every week. What? I'm good. Chase was carrying Hendrick Motorsports during that time. Zane is carrying Front Row right now.
How's Chase doing now?
Shut up. But yeah, attaboy for Zane Smith, man. He continues to impress me. That's why I think he's one of the most underrated drivers in the Cup Series. That's why I've been so high on him from the start. When he won the championship at Front Row in the trucks, I said, this guy's got Cup Series potential. And he's proven it to me week in and week out. We're in top 15 about every week. Got a top 10 this weekend. Could have had a top 5 if things go the right way. So, attaboy Zane Smith. Just got to win a race, make the playoffs like I predicted, and win another one. And I'll be right as rain.
Just go win the championship, Zane.
Hey, I wouldn't be mad about it.
That ain't gonna happen, but I wouldn't either. But yeah,
You got to not give me credit because he hadn't won a race yet. But did you see this out of Zane Smith this year? He's running top 15 almost every week.
I thought he was gonna be all right. I mean, it's more consistent than I thought.
You said, "Oh, there's no fucking chance he's gonna fucking win 2 races."
And there is still 0 chance that he wins 2 races.
Hey,
that is
how
true.
many races are left? 21. How many races I say he has to win? 2. I think that math is mathing.
I don't think so. I think there's 5, 6 cars ahead of him that are more likely to win a race.
Who?
17, the 60, the 6.
Oh, get the fuck out of here. Not the 6 or maybe the 6.
Daytona? Atlanta?
He can win no races.
Fair. All right. All right. The 17 and the 60 are more likely. They're faster consistently. The 23.
Yeah, probably on speed, yeah.
The 9.
He don't count. He's in the playoffs. He don't make the playoffs on points. He don't count. The 45, if you're on...
Yeah, he ain't won yet. The 45.
The 8. I think I like him over the 8.
Yeah, I like him over the 8, too. That's already 5.
48.
No.
Yeah. That's it. 77, I guess. Yeah, 77.
Yeah, 77.
But, man, Zane is killing it.
Catherine Legg.
Yeah, she going to win this weekend. That's my pick. Zane is impressing me, man. And so, attaboy.
The 38?
Zane Smith. Huh?
The 38. Todd's been fast.
He is a 38.
36.
34.
34.
What is up with you in 36 today?
I always fuck up those numbers.
You said Riley Herbst with 36. Now you're saying Todd Gilliland
Who drives a
36?
36 car?
Nobody.
Where'd it go?
Nobody. Went off.
There used to be a 36.
Yeah.
David Reagan.
John Hunter Nemechek used to drive it. Would wreck every week in COVID.
Dude, he almost won Darlington.
He almost won. He finished 8th. People still ride his dick for that performance. I don't understand it.
He's been doing okay this year.
Yeah, his teammate Eric. I almost gave it to Eric Jones. That motherfucker figuring it out.
Mr. Jones. Hey, he finished 11th, I think.
Was it 11th? I thought he finished in the top 10. He finished top 10 at Charlotte, I think. Top 10 at Nashville, and I think he finished. Maybe he didn't finish top 10 in Charlotte.
Yeah, he finished 11th.
Okay, 11th. So he's been doing good too. So, anyways, hit that button for You Can't Do That.
You can't do that.
You can't do that.
You can't do that.
The You Can't Do That. This is a tough decision, man.
It's me.
I wonder who I'm going to give it to this week. You know.
I go first.
No, I go first. I just did the Attaboy. I was last doing
Yeah,
Attaboy.
go ahead.
My You Can't Do That is going to go to Alan Gustafson.
Never heard of him.
How the fuck you say his last name?
Gustafson.
Yeah, him.
Gustafson.
Mufasa. Alan Mufasa.
Who?
I think you had a really good car on Sunday. You pull the wrong pit strategy, which to be fair, the pit strategy on Sunday was kind of chaotic. I'll give you a little bit of benefit of the doubt on that. But Chase, you gave him track position early. Good. Okay, you had to pit for fuel. I get that. Drove his way almost into the top 10, if not on the edge of the top 10. Cool. Let's try to keep it. Now let's pit again. Oh, fucked up. Oh, pit crew had a bad stop. Oh, yep, shocker. And then Chase stalls on pit road for whatever fucking reason on one of the stops. So Allen put Chase in a bad spot to be in the back when I don't think he needed to pit when he lost all that track position, when he was coming back up through the field with, I think, Larson and Reddick and stuff like that. And he never got back to the front. You could say, yeah, it's part on Chase for, he needs to get better and pass some cars. But we saw how difficult it was to pass on Sunday. You could pass, but if you're in the very back, you're not going to make your way back up to the top 10 when I think Chase Elliott had a good car. So Alan Gustafson, yet again, fucking up the strategy on the 9 team. Cost his guy, I think, a top 5 to a top 10 possibility. Maybe even a chance to win the race if you pull the strategy the right way.
No.
If you come up there and pass the leader in beginning of stage 2,
timeout though.
You have a chance to win the race.
But let me be devil's advocate. You're not wrong. The thing that you're ignoring here is he didn't pass Denny. He didn't pass Chris. He didn't pass any of the good cars.
He passed Byron.
And Byron was probably 5th.
Blaney was good. He passed Blaney.
Blaney was okay. But he didn't pass the best cars out there. He was up there because of fuel strategy, and he was up there because of pit strategy. He was never a top 5 car.
You can say that about Carson.
Yeah, I mean maybe, but
you can say that about Ty Gibbs.
I do think you're right. I think Alan Gustafson
needs to go. I'm sick of him. I'm done with him.
I think he needs to go. I think he is not. I think he's to blame for finishing 15th, but I don't think if Alan Gustafson does pit strategy and everything perfect, I think it's still an 8th place, 5th to 8th place, which is still better than 15th.
Yeah.
But
I feel like he just didn't give Chase a chance to replicate what we saw at the beginning of stage 2.
I think you're having a a
Chase Elliott meltdown.
I think you're having the same dilemma that I had
with Matt McCall. Yeah, and I agree with you for the most part.
He never cost him terribly, but he never did anything to help him win. Either.
That's my point.
So
when I think Chase had a really good car, like I said, I don't know about a race-winning car. We'll never know. But he was coming through the field with the rest of those guys before he pitted again, and also that's where the downward spiral, and he could never get back up there.
But, I mean, I get it. I get the frustration, but, you're still comfortably in the playoffs. You're not, driving headfirst into concrete barriers like the 48 is.
Yeah,
so,
I know. I know.
You're doing good.
I know, but yeah.
Still have, I think, the best average finish all year.
I'm sure he does. He doesn't wreck. He always finishes
top
above
15,
20th.
Yeah,
top 15, but that's the problem. He always finishes 15th.
Yeah.
So, just frustration, man. We even saw Jimmy Johnson, Chad Canals, who won 7 championships, had kind of their run end. It just has to end. Like, Allen and Chase have been together now this will be the 10th year, I think. So,
and they've been having, these kind of issues for a while. I mean, he ran out of fuel at Watkins Glen.
Yep.
There's
2020 Coke 600 should have won that damn race. He pits with 2 to go, and Brad Keselowski wins the race. Fuck off. That's when Brad was good.
Brad still is good. He'd be winning races in that 9 car.
He beat Joe Logano. That's all I cared about. But no, it's just frustrating, man, because I expect more from that team. I know they do too. And Chase said it on Prime and the pre-race show. Like nobody wants to win more than we do. Like we care, and I think he's been hearing some of these people, these us Chase fans,
naysayers,
that are frustrated with their performance. It would be different if Kyle Larson and William Byron was running 10th every week and he was running 15th. Okay, sure. Car's just not that good right now. William Byron, Kyle Larson, other than the past couple of weeks, have been leading. I mean, Kyle Larson not leading. Kyle Larson hadn't led a lap the past couple of weeks, which is rare. But throughout the most of the season, William Byron and Kyle Larson is up front and contending for wins every week in and week out. Chase has had 2 races like that all year. We're 15 weeks in? That's not good enough. Look at your teammates, look at your performance. I expect the same, if not close to the same performance that your teammates are doing, because I know you can do it. I know Chase Elliott is a good enough race car driver to contend and win races week in and week out, contend for race wins week in and week out, like his teammates. Kyle Larson is a better race car driver than Chase Elliott. Not going to argue with that. William Byron and him are pretty damn close, and William Byron whoops his ass every week pretty much. And at some point, you have to look yourself in the mirror and be like, something has to change. Yes, you can run 8th to 15th every week. That would work in the old Winston Cup format. But you got to show up, you got to win, you got to contend for wins. Figure it out, Alan. Figure out your pit strategy. Do whatever you think is the right thing, do the opposite. Because it seems like every time you do something that you think is going to be right, it winds up wrong. So think of the opposite. Chase, you got to get better on restarts. You suck on restarts. Not all Alan's fault. But that's my Chase Elliott rant for the week. So, Al Gustin, you can't do that.
Yeah, it's a fair point. I'm going to give mine to Chase Briscoe and team. You can't do that, Chase Briscoe and team. Qualified on the pole 3 weeks in a row. Has been a nothing in the races. Which, to be fair, I mean, that car wasn't super.
He finished 3rd or 4th at Charlotte. Came back to finish.
Yeah, but he didn't race there.
No.
Decent finish for him at Charlotte. Good finish for him, you can say. But more specifically this weekend, I mean, you qualify on the pole, you fall back immediately.
Well, no, he led the first few laps.
Yeah, the first 7. And then you never saw him again. Literally never saw him again. And he finished.
He was in that wreck with Alex Bowman.
Yeah, but he was running back there.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, he was in the 30s and the late 20s, 30s. And gets caught up in a wreck, has some damage, and ends up finishing 23rd. I mean, that's a Joe Gibbs racing car. You don't expect a Joe Gibbs racing car to be back there.
Well, Christopher Bell didn't have it all weekend. Where'd he finish?
Even top 10, I think.
Did he?
He finished 16th.
16th. That was an off week for Christopher Bell. And Gibbs and
I was thinking about Ty Gibbs, but Denny wins the race. Ty Gibbs finishes third, and then you got Christopher Bell off week finishes 16th. You qualified on pole. You had the fastest car, and you finished 23rd. You're running 30th on speed. So it's rough. It's rough for Chase Briscoe fans right now. I don't know what it takes. I don't know if they just have the wrong philosophy on Saturdays that makes them so fast on Saturdays. They just can't put the car doesn't last for the race. They can't make more than 2 laps fast. I don't know. Qualifying on the pole is better than not, but I'd rather qualify 10th and have a decent car than qualify on the pole and drop back every week. So kind of disappointing. I like Chase Briscoe, and I don't love the team he's on, but I like Chase, and I was hoping he was going to do a little bit better than he's doing.
He's still in the playoffs.
He's still in the playoffs, but
on points right
not
now.
by a lot. I mean, Chris is not that far behind him.
He's 48 above the cut line.
Yeah, so that's a blown motor away from being on the cut line. That's a Carson Hocevar winning away from being on the cut line. So, it's
SVG Age Allmendinger road course.
This weekend probably going to have a new winner that's not in the playoffs. There's a couple more of those races where that could happen. So, I think Briscoe's going to have to figure something out, or he's going to be in trouble like Alex Bowman is right now because. Bowman finished last, obviously, but Briscoe was running with him, and he runs with them quite a bit. And both those guys are struggling. So, I think Briscoe's got the talent to do it. Like I said, Martin Truex didn't have a ton of talent or a ton of success in that car last year.
That's where I was.
It's not all Briscoe.
Yeah.
That's why I'm giving it to him and the team. I think they're going to have to change their philosophy on how they do Saturdays. I think they're going to have to try to focus more on the race than qualifying because what they're doing right now is not working as far as getting good results.
Yeah, that's what my one caveat to that. Caveat to that is we saw Martin Truex Jr., NASCAR champion. He didn't win a race in that car 2 out of his past 3 years. 2 out of his final 3 years. 2022 didn't win a race. Now, he was top 5 in points, but didn't make it on the playoffs because he had 15 winners, and Blaney barely edged him out on points. 2023 won 4 races, won the regular season championship, but then fell apart in the playoffs. Fair. Then last year, same thing. Didn't win a race, made the playoffs, got eliminated first round. So could it be a James Small problem? I mean, we had Truex and James Small go at it a lot the last couple of years at JGR. And you come to Chase Briscoe, younger, seems like he'll understand and won't be bitching about shit so much like Truex did, but it's still not translating to wins. So could it be a James Small problem? Could it be a car chief problem? Could it be just need more time to get used to each other problem? What do you think it is?
I think it's set up because Briscoe's obviously good enough to win a race. Briscoe's obviously a good race car driver. I mean, he won a race with a defunct team last year at Darlington. He's a good race car driver. And Martin Truex Jr., a really good race car driver, and he struggled in this car last year. So obviously there's something wrong with the car. So I don't know if that's James Small not doing the right adjustments throughout the race. I don't know if that's not putting the right setup in it for Sundays, throughout the weekend, or focusing too fast on one lap speed, and not focusing on being good for 400, 500 miles. So I think they just got to change their approach to the weekend, and they'll be okay. Because they got the speed in the car. Obviously, you can't qualify on the pole and have a slow race car. So, and they got a good driver that's a proven race winner. So, I think it's just they got to put it all together.
Fair point. Well, we got Autodrome Rodriguez,
El Patron, Tequila, Burrito,
El Titanic, Raceway this weekend, Mexico City.
The racetrack is in Mexico City. This is not a political statement about anything going on in the world.
Yes.
There is a geographic location called Mexico. There is a city in that country named Mexico City.
Yep.
There is a racetrack there that NASCAR is racing in this weekend. So anytime that we say the word Mexico or Mexico City or the racetrack in Mexico, we're referring to the sporting event only.
That's it.
That is it.
Nothing else.
TikTok, please do not ban this video.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for your cooperation. We got the Cup Series and the Xfinity Series this weekend. Trucks are off. We got 2 practices for the Cup Series.
Oh, hell yeah.
Friday, 1 o'clock
Hell
on
yeah,
Prime
brother.
for practice 1.
I'll be there.
Will you? Practice 2 will be at 3 o'clock on Friday, so you don't get much of a time to turn up the wick and work on your adjustments, but at least you got 2. Saturday, the Xfinity race is at 4:30. The Cup Series will be qualifying at 12 o'clock on Prime, and then, like I said, the Xfinity race will be at 4:30 Saturday on the CW. And then the race on Sunday, the big race, the Cup Series race, will be at 3 o'clock on Prime as well. First time coming to this track. And I think first time for the Cup Series, but first time in NASCAR in general in 20 plus years. Right there at it, 20 years. So, Riley, what are you expecting from this track? It's a brand new. It's going to be something to see. Nobody has a notebook for this track. What are you expecting?
Well, all I know, I like the racetrack as far as road courses go. I think it provides some decent racing. I think it's one of the better F1 tracks. And as far as I know, I could be wrong, but as far as I know, they're running the same layout that the F1 track does. So there's some long straightaways that are going to make for good hard braking zones, for passing zones. There's some slower sections of the track. The stadium section is what they call it. The last couple, turns. They have a chicane there, and then kind of more of a sweeping right hand, almost NASCAR style turn to end the lap. But it is right-handed. I think it's going to provide decent racing as far as the Cup Series goes. I think the Xfinity race will be the best race of the weekend. Obviously, it's usually the way they go, especially now on road courses. The Xfinity race is usually better because the Cup cars just handle too good, in my opinion. So I do think, as far as Sunday goes, I think it's going to be a road course ringer that wins the race. I think it's going to be kind of the guys that you expect running up there as far as speed and consistency go. But I don't think it would be surprising to have a guy that may not be considered the road course ringer have a good day. I think about guys like Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick. I think they could have good days. The 8 car I think might be competitive. Daniel Suarez I think will be good. These are guys that you don't necessarily consider road course ringers, but are good. Chris Buescher. That are good on road courses. So it wouldn't be surprising if any of those guys won the race. I think it's going to be an interesting race. I don't know if it'll be super memorable as far as things go. I don't know if there's going to be a ton of craziness or a ton of, a ton to write home about at the end of the day, but it'll be interesting just to see how these cars and these guys adapt to a new racetrack.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be. It'll be interesting to see how all these Cup guys handle a new track. We've had several new tracks on the Cup Series the past several years, and we've had some guys adapt to it better than others. So I think that'll come into play. Setup-wise, I think it's going to matter the most this weekend just because it's a new track, and you gotta have your car good to roll off the truck, I think, to be able to win this race. Driver skill and talent will come into play, but if your car sucks, I just don't see how anybody in the field can make their way up to the field and win this race. I think the teams that can set up the cars the best during the week right now are gonna win the race on Sunday. So you got guys like a Chase Elliott that need a win, but he used to be the road course king, new track. He could flex his muscles here this weekend and try to, shut up the naysayers and say, hey, I can still do this. Me and Al can still do this. I don't see that happening, but it could happen. Obviously, you got Shane and AJ are the main 2 that people are looking at this weekend, the road course ringers, that they're going to be the most comfortable at the start of this practice and qualifying and race because this is what they're comfortable doing this, turning to left and right. But there's tons of good Cup Series road course racers now. It's not like it was back in the day where you had a couple good ones along with the road course ringers that would come in and, like a Ron Fellows, like a Max Pappas, like those guys. You don't have that no more.
Boris said.
Just keep away from Greg Biffle.
I tell you what, there is one road course ringer that's going to be in this race.
Catherine Legg. Yeah, she could do decent. Can't do much worse than what she has the first couple Cup starts of her career. So I'm excited to see it. It's just going to be new. It's something fresh, something different. Road courses are not the best with this car.
Going to be better in the Roval.
It should be. I just think and I said this a few weeks ago, drivers are going to be uncomfortable because they're just not used to this track, not used to how to drive this track yet. It'll take them probably the whole race to get comfortable with how to drive into 6, how to drive into 8, how to drive into, turn 1. It's going to be a learning experience for every driver in the field. And I think that puts on better racing when these drivers run comfortable. So the cars will probably make it not as good of a race as it probably should be. If we come here in the Gen 6 car, I think it would be a hell of a race. But Gen 7, very comfortable on road courses. These cars are meant for road courses. So the drivers will be more comfortable than they should be, but I think they'll still be a little uncomfortable just because the newness of everything. So I expect a decent race. And hopefully we have a deserving winner. We don't have 6 overtimes where everybody's plowing through each other.
Yeah, I don't think we will. I think it'll be kind of a long run to the finish. But with that being said, you won this week with Brad Keselowski. Surprise.
I'm picking him again. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
Probably be all right. What's the score now?
9-7. I'm a-coming.
Mm-hmm. Well, unfortunately, you won.
Yep.
And that kind of gives you the
that gives me the
obvious choice.
Yes, sir. And you know who I'm going to pick? He's been running decent here lately.
Chris Buescher.
Yeah, no.
Damn.
I got to save him for later. I got to save him for Richmond. The guy I'm picking this week, he's had a couple decent finishes on the ovals the past couple weeks, getting better at that. His teammate won a couple weeks ago in Charlotte. Give me Shane Van Gisbergen to win this race. He's the most experienced, close to AJ, in road coursing etiquette. And with all these guys being new at this track, I think it's new to SVG. I don't think he's ever raced here. But he is the best road course racer in the Cup Series right now as far as just straight-up talent goes. And if he can catch on quicker than I think everybody else would, I think that'll lead to him winning this race. Trackhouse has won a road course race before, won a couple of road course races before with Ross and Daniel. And I think he'll join that list. I think he's going to be in a better car than he's been at with Colleague the past couple of years in the Cups. Well, he was with Trackhouse when he won in Chicago, but he was with Colleague last year, right, in Chicago and other road courses. So I think he'll have a better car underneath him than he did last year, and I think he's going to win this race and punch his ticket to the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, that's the obvious pick. I would have probably smacked you if you didn't pick him.
I was going to pick Justin Haley, but something told me not to.
Yeah. With that being said, I am going to pick his teammate, the hometown boy.
Daniel Swervez.
Give me Daniel Swervez. Very good road course racer, obviously. Grew up in Mexico, and is a España himself. So being the hometown guy, going to go there with a little bit of extra motivation.
He needs a win.
He needs a win. So I think Daniel, he might have some experience on this track. So I think Daniel's going to be one to reckon with this weekend, and I think it's pretty much the second best pick you could have this weekend. I think it's
maybe other than AJ.
AJ's was on the list as well. I just don't know if I trust those cars.
They've been
better. They've been better this year, but I still
Kyle Busch, I gave him a little bit of thought.
Yep,
I almost won COTA, and I think he's raced in Mexico City before.
Gave Chris Buescher some thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chase Elliott, if he can go back to his Gen 6 days.
Gave Christopher Bell thought. Gave the 5, the normal guys.
Yeah.
Gave them a bunch of thought, but I think with Daniel Suarez's acumen and what this race is going to mean to him, I think it's going to be a good weekend for him. So he might not win the race, but if Shane blows a tire or gets a penalty
blows
for
a
cutting a
motor like he did
course
at Chicago,
whatever. So I think the 99 will have a good shot at it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So it'll be a non-American, although Daniel Suarez is technically American now. He got his card, but a non-American-born driver we're picking to win this race this weekend for both of us. So should be interesting to see there. What you got going on this weekend, Riley?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Not a damn thing.
I'll be working.
It's Father's Day, I think. Sunday.
It is. Yeah, it is. So happy early Father's Day to all you fathers out there.
I'll be doing nothing.
I'll be working on Father's Day, so go back to nights, Friday night. So hopefully it won't. I know it's a road course race, so it's not going to end before I have to leave for work. It starts at 3. I have to leave here about 6:05, 6:10, 6:15. So it'll be close to ending. But hopefully you have a good race this weekend, and yeah, we'll come back next week to review hopefully a Chris Buescher win or something.
That'd be nice.
Or Chase Elliott win. You'd love that too.
That would not be nice.
Well, Brad Keselowski win.
That'd be
Shit,
nice.
that ain't gonna happen, boy. But anyways, hope y'all enjoyed listening to us. If you didn't, well, fuck you.
It's too damn bad.
You listen to us anyway. But follow us on TikTok at the Highline Podcast. Follow us on YouTube. Did I just say YouTube?
No, you said TikTok.
Okay, YouTube at the Highline Podcast. Follow us on Instagram at the Highline Official. Follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcast at the Highline. Hit the notification bell
Ding ding.
to get every notification every time we drop an episode. Drop one every week. We'll come back next week to review Mexico City. Shit. Well, canceled.
TikTok. Please do not ban us.
And more. So until next time, go Tigers.
Go Cox.